Recording.
Okay. I'm going to talk to you guys today about soil. I can already feel the eyes glazing over. Some people in here are already toning out, trying to find a way to pull out their phone. Soil is very important. It's what you might classify as a non-renewable resource. Some people refer to trees as a non-renewable resource, oil. A non-renewable resource is something that you cannot renew in your lifetime. And I believe that soil is one of those things that we cannot bring back to life as fast as we can pull the life back out of it. Soil comes in 3 different flavors. You have sandy soil, you have clay soil, as we're all mostly familiar with, and you have the humus soil that sustains life and makes everything beautiful, and it keeps us alive. Sandy soil is made up of extremely large molecules of carbon, ground up shells, stone. Water goes through it very quickly. It's not very good for plant life unless you're trying to grow like cactuses or a succulent farm, because the water it goes right out of it. You can't hold any nutrients. Clay, on the other hand, is extremely fine particles. It clumps together. Water cannot penetrate. It's also bad for plant life because your roots they can't penetrate. Anybody that's ever tried to grow carrots knows that any kind of toughness in the soil just makes everything fall apart. So what makes soil healthy? What gives you that perfect loamy texture that just kind of falls apart in your hands but doesn't like run through your fingers like sand? The key is in microorganisms, particularly fungus. Now, whenever most people think of fungus, they think of athlete's foot, jock itch, something that's not so pleasant. This particular type of fungus, like most, has microextensions called hyphae. They extend off the main body and they actually intertwine with plant roots. And as you mostly know, plants take up water through their roots. They deposit carbon in the soil, and it's a symbiotic relationship. What the fungus does is it secretes globulin, a protein that actually helps the soil adhere and retain water, which is good for the plant. It helps it stay alive. It helps it maintain cellular respiration in its photosynthesis processes, while also giving off carbon and nitrogen into the soil, which the fungus needs. There's billions and billions of microorganisms. I can't really go into it, but I think that fungus is the most important. Now, why soil? Why is soil so very important to humanity as we know it? As most of you know, humanity started out as hunter-gatherers. If you follow the evolution time scale, you know we came over from Africa, migrated, took the whole planet over pretty much. Soil is what let us set our roots down, ironically. Agriculture is how we built big cities. It's how we founded civilizations. Speaking on such, I want everybody to think about what they have for breakfast or are not going to have for breakfast and eat for lunch. Everything starts in agriculture. That cow that you're eating, that chicken that you're messing up at Grandy's, coleslaw, grits, it all comes from plants in one way, shape, or another. The chicken eats the grass seed that you throw out, the cow eats the grains that you compress. It all finds its roots in the soil. If you don't have good soil, it's going to be over pretty quick. So you got to eat. It's important. Soil is important to that, so I think that we should all start paying attention to the soil. Whenever most people think of soil, they don't think of climate change. I want everybody to appreciate the scale of a gigaton. A gigaton is just the unit that you use to measure the volume of water in the ocean. Now imagine that same volume of water in the ocean in the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide. Climate change isn't as dramatic as the movie 2012 or meteors raining down, people cooking in their homes from the AC giving out because it's just getting too hot. It's more subtle. The evolution it's a slower process, but our soil contains gigatons of carbon. That is a byproduct of the carbon cycle, which I'm not going to go into terrible depth, but When we break up the soil, it goes in the atmosphere. Burn fossil fuels, it goes in the atmosphere. Plants bring it down in photosynthesis, give off oxygen and water as a product of cellular respiration, and stores it in the soil. I'm trying to refresh my memory here, it's been a second since Bio 1. And once it's in the soil, it's typically there to stay in the form of carbonate, a solid particle. But whenever we break up the soil, we release it back in the atmosphere, and it's not good for anybody. Mass deforestation is occurring all over the world, and it's just releasing that straight up into the atmosphere. So what we can do about that, plant cover crops whenever we clear a whole section of woods to put in the Sam's Club while we're getting the workers back out there, because we all know it takes forever for anything to come up. Plant something in the ground. The roots maintain the fungal life necessary to fix everything in the soil. And I could go on about this for days, but I don't really have the time, and I want to really talk to you guys about biomass, which is another really, really cool thing that you can come from the soil. Byproducts of farming, such as tomato leaves, most of you know that they're not edible. You can burn those in a biomass facility, and it creates steam, which turns turbines and creates energy. Byproducts of forestry, such as stumps, limbs, stuff like that that you can't really use unless you want to create pulp. Burn that, create steam, green energy. Everything's based off of soil. You can't grow the trees, you can't grow the crops, you can't grow anything without soil, and it's bad news for everybody. So hopefully your eyes aren't glazed over. That was my presentation on soil.
All right.